morning. Good morning. Good morning. Welcome to the last show of February. February, short month, flew by. Anybody else? Same thing with it? Dania, welcome, welcome, welcome. Makers Movers Podcast. And today, what are we talking about today? Today, we're talking about how to sell to leagues without competing with those national brands, which I know a lot of us have dealt with. And so we're going to, talk about that some. Now, if this is your first time here or your long time here, I need to know some things. I need to know who you are, where you're from, what's in your cup, what the weather is like in your area, and then your five things. What are five things that you are going to accomplish today? I will tell you, uh, it is it's going to be a day because it's volunteer day at the school, so that is a big chunk of the day. Probably 4 hours of volunteer work at the school day, two meetings, stuff to press and get out, two more stores to get, and we still have pull orders and do that. The joys of running three businesses, right? So we've got a lot to do today in a short time. So we'll get through this. Then we got a mentorship call, and then my day is rocking already there with it. Um, so let's check in and see. And then five things. Yeah, I told you your five things. Five things you're doing. I'm all over the place. Morning, Renee, 65 and foggy in Chicagoland. Water in the bottle. Tea in progress. Five things. Engraved tumbler order. IKEA. Organization of work areas. Lunch with Ellen. Artwork. Whose artwork? I got it. I got it there. I lied. 31 on the way to 65. Yeah, it's that most wonderful time of the year, where it's freezing in the morning and shorts in the afternoon. Love it, love it, love it. Uh, Barb, good morning. North Central Minnesota, 31 and windy. Water in the cup, five things. Quotes, 3D printing, work on website, sewing alterations, and scheduling. Hi, Renee from Barb. Morning, Barb from Renee. Uh, Monique, right? Mo Creek. That's what I got there. Good morning to you. Jeff, good morning. 43 on the way to 60, even though we had 3 inches of snow yesterday. We didn't get any of that. Two things today, laser and UV print. Jeff's got a busy day there. Tim, good morning to you. Hi, Jeff from Barb, and hi, Tim from Barb. Morning, Renee, Barb, and Mr. Tintz from Jeff. Right? That's what I'm saying, Renee. How is Sunday March already? Like we were going through stuff, and it's the end of month, beginning of month stuff where it's like, okay. And then that also means come March, it's come Sunday, we've got 2 weeks till we take possession of that building. And you'll love, I'll give you guys in the mentorship community, I'll give you guys an update on some stuff today. But yeah, it's fun. Everybody else will talk to about Tuesday State of the Union to see how everything is going. Alex, good morning. Goodbye, February. Come on, spring, right? It's there. It's there. Harp said we may see 40 today, but it'll be sub-zero by tomorrow morning. Next week's a warm-up. I don't like that. Pasha, good morning to you. And no problem holding the Pasha won on Tuesday. She won a cameo. No problem holding that until you get back, and then just I just have it set to the side. So once you're back, then we'll get it taken care of for you. Hi, Alex and Pasha from Barb. Linda's got 62 on the way to 83 in Texas. Man, 83 in February sure would be nice. And I know APA was going on this week. It was funny because I talked to a few people and they're like, as always, APA does offer some amazing classes, amazing classes. But they said this will probably be the last year that they go because the cost is outrageous. They said, just the side quest costs. And I said, side quest costs? And they're like, yeah, just to be here, like to spend, $15 on a drink. Like, oh yeah. They're like, $35 for a basic meal. Like, yeah. And then the resort fees. Yeah. So they said, yeah, this is it. They're like, it's just not worth it. They said, what should be an expensive week. They said, we can go to an all-inclusive resort for this in Mexico, which they are correct, which I think would be awesome if places did that. They just did an all-inclusive resorts in Mexico, and then we could go down there and enjoy it. But yeah, hearing tons of great things about the training, the people are there, but just Vegas isn't cheap anymore, not by any means. Hi, Linda from Barb. Hi, Barb from Alex. What do we got there? Progressor. Jacksonville, Florida. Cold in the morning, warm to hot, light afternoon. Can't beat that. Linda, press uniforms, order uniforms, 3D print baseball photo shoot. Linda's busy. You're very welcome on that. Right? That's why I didn't go again this year. That's my thing. Is it's like, and Linda's right here. I usually just buy the classes from APA. It totally makes sense just to buy the classes because yeah, you're missing the in-person experience that you can join the networking experience, but just that side quest cost. Yeah, it is. Go to we could definitely go to Mexico for that, right? Um, Tim says my building too. Talk with the realtor yesterday too, but still waiting for someone to look over my lease more. At least someone knows more than me. Yeah, it was ours. We're gonna see. We're gonna see how it goes out. I mean, we got a building. We got a building. We take possession of that building on the 14th. But is there other stuff in the works? We'll talk about it. I'm going to Jackson, Chicago, May. We will be there. Well, not as vendors, but we will be there as just attendees. We'll run up on Saturday. We'll run up on Friday. Probably get in sometime, midday Friday, and then we'll be there Friday and Saturday. Because now we're kind of in that different. We're in that different world of things. Yes, we still do apparel decoration, but we're phasing it out so we can focus on the supply side of things. We still need to take care of our customers that we have for years, but as far as seeking new ones, no. So do we need to know the new things to do things? No, because on a lot of that, that's what we're looking for is partners that we can grow with, expand with, become more hands off and stuff. And then on the flip side, vendors there, are there things that we can bring in? We've already been in talks with Magic Touch on some things that they offer, maybe some things on the embroidery side of it where we can work some deals with that. So we're seeing what we can do and then going from there for it. And Tim said, "Oh, and 3D printing new tubes for my new pants. Invest. Oh, like new tubes for your new pants. Invest. The tools better. Show that off. Good, 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 good. Keith, good morning to you from the sunny Space Coast. No coffee today. I got coffee. I got a French vanilla caramel cream concoction going on with a toasted marshmallow simple syrup, and I don't know. I just grabbed it there. I've heard that about Vegas. Nothing is cheap there anymore. Vegas has lost its fun factor for bit. Yeah, like peak Vegas to me was late '90s, early 2000s when we went in our 20s, and you could go in for the weekend and be in flying in and out and be less than $1,000 for the whole weekend. And a lot of times you could do it for $500. Round trip flights I think were like 150. Hotels were nothing, literally nothing, because you were playing and gambling. And cheap buffets now, just not at all, not at all what it was. When I looked, it was going to be, I think for Corey and I to go, it was about $2,000 to go, and there is right now you can do 4 people to Mexico for 5 days, all inclusive with airfare, taxes, insurance, everything for $1,800. Just saying, like that, comparative speaking. So she's going to go do that. I don't know, May or June, whatever. And the kids are going to go do that, and we'll keep taking to work. And Chuck, what's up, Chuck? Good morning to you from Florida, getting taxes ready and accounted for accounting. It's tax time. Or is this like, I'm just like, I don't know. Just tell me what we got to do. That's all I need to know with it. And then hi, Chuck from Renee, and hi, Barb from Jerry. All right. What do you say we just go ahead and get right into this? Because if you've ever tried pitching, to any league, any sports, any school, and thought, we can't compete with the big national companies, you're just thinking about it wrong. Now, yes, national brands do win on scale. They win on volume contracts. They win on bulk templated production and, convenience at the board level. And if you try and beat them at their own game, price, inventory, depth, or master distribution, there's a good chance that you're going to lose every time. But, a lot of leagues just don't care about price. They care about speed, the flexibility, the local presence, the customization, and not looking stupid when something goes wrong. So today, We're breaking down how to sell to leagues without competing with those national brands and how to win by positioning yourself where they are the weakest at. So, number one is let's stop competing on price and let's start competing on response time. Now, national brands, they can be super slow to adapt. They operate on systems that really don't flex. But guess what? You don't. When a league president will email a national vendor, sometimes they can wait days for a reply. When something needs to change mid-season, it has to go through different layers. Your biggest weapon as an at-home apparel decorator is speed. And speed builds trust, and trust wins renewals. Leagues are run by volunteers. And volunteers value responsiveness more than a dollar cheaper hoodie. When you position yourself as a vendor who quickly and who answers quickly and fixes issues fast, you create safety for the board. And safety beats savings when reputations are on the line. You're not competing on pennies. You're competing on that peace of mind. And so, example of this, I don't try to be the cheapest. I try to be the fastest and most responsive. Something changes or a parent has an issue, I handle it directly. You won't be waiting 3 days for an email reply, from some customer support desk. We'll get right back to you. Another example, my advantage over national vendors is that I am local and flexible. If a roster changes or a sponsor needs added, I can adjust quickly. You're not locked in to some rigid system. So for this action step is we just got, one line. What's your one line pitch? We specialize in fast, direct communication with league leadership. That's it, right? All right. Number two, you know, own the customization gap that they just can't scale. National vendors, most of them, they will just template anything, and that's how they handle volume. Leagues, especially those smaller and mid-sized ones, they want their identity reflected properly. Local sponsors, unique mascots, custom division names, memorial tournaments, tribute nights. You know, these are moments that national brands struggle to personalize deeply without upcharging, or complicating the process. And this is where you can win. You lean into hyper specific customization, not just add a name, but thoughtful program alignment. When leagues feel seen instead of just being processed, that loyalty that increases dramatically. Customization isn't just design, it's relevance. So example of this, is if you've got a local sponsorship that needs placement or special division names, we can design specifically around your league instead of just using some generic template. We build each store around your identity, not just a stock generic layout. Another example, for opening day or tournament weekends, we can create limited run designs that feel special, not something that you just pulled out of a stock art catalog. That's something that a lot of national vendors don't usually prioritize for you. So, action step for this is let's just create, one league identity mockup, tailored to their specific name and sponsors before even the pitch. Now, number three is let's sell simplicity to the board, not gear to the families. When you are pitching leagues, your customer isn't the parents first, it's the board. Board members are worried about three things. Do we know what those three things are? Complaints, admin work, and looking stupid, right? If you pitch product variety, you're speaking to the wrong priority. You need to pitch the administrative simplicity of all of this. Explain clearly how ordering works, how payments are collected, how distributions happen, and how any of those issues are resolved. When you can remove the admin friction, man, that board can relax. And when the board relaxes, they promote harder. Leagues choose vendors who make their job easier, not vendors who have the most SKUs. We have a store that's opening today. One design, Think t-shirt, long sleeve, crew neck, hoodie, pocketed hoodie, hoodless hoodie, whatever we're calling that. And tank top. 6 items, one design. That's it. That's what they wanted. You know, took everything off the plate for them. That's all they needed. So for this example, say, hey, I set up the store. We collect the payments directly. We manage production and we sort everything by team. You won't be collecting any money or organizing any orders. Our goal is zero admin for your board. Okay. The other one, you approve the designs. You share the link, and then we handle the rest. If a parent has a question, they contact me, not you. And what does that do? Is that keeps the complaints off of your plate. So for the action step, just write your board promise in one sentence. Approve, share, done. We handle the rest. All right. Now, before we get into 4 and 5, let's look and see questions, comments, concerns that we have in here. I don't think we got anything more in here for the check-ins. The check-ins, we see that for it. Alex, casinos just suck everything out of you they can. I have the largest casino, Northern Hemisphere, 7 miles north of me, Foxwoods, and then 15 minutes is Mohegan Sun's last Mohegans. When we went out there for APA, I think I put in $20 in the slot machine at the airport waiting for Renee, and $20 on the slot machine when we were leaving, waiting on my flight. That was it. I'm like, in my younger days, didn't care. We've got what do we have? We have 3 casinos around us. I couldn't tell you the last time I was in any of them. 5, 10 years. It's been a long time since I've been to them, but I get there. Thanks, Jerry. We're trying to. All right. All right. Number 4 is let's position yourself as the local safety net. You know, a lot of times those national brands, they just disappear after delivery until next year. Guess what? You don't. Right? If something is wrong, leagues want something that they can call. There's someone to call. If a championship team needs extra merch quickly, they want someone local. If a rain delay shifts schedules, they want flexibility. And when you position yourself as that safety net for them, you shift from that vendor to the partner. That safety net positioning that wins long-term contracts because leagues, they value reliability over just the novelty of the sale. And this is especially powerful when something goes wrong with a national vendor. You don't attack them, you just calmly position yourself as a stable alternative. Now, personal story, while we did not win our league's contract for uniforms, we take care of their spirit wear. But when the league needs extra jerseys, they reach out to us because the national, they can't help them. And they're in that contract for a couple of years. And we say, here, we're here to help. And so they just do it. And we just take care of them. Now, some other examples that you can use. Hey, if something goes wrong mid-season, I'm local and reachable. You're not calling some national hotline. I'm looking to build long-term relationships, not just one-time deals. Another one. Hey, when the playoffs hits and you need that extra gear fast, hey, we can prioritize locally. You won't be stuck waiting on a warehouse halfway across the country. So for this action step is let's add this line to your pitch. We are your local backup plan when the national system fails you and moves too slow. That's it. Okay. So even if you don't have it, we're here. We're still here for them. Now, number 5, build recurring lead infrastructure, not one-off stores. And this is where, a good handful of decorators stay small at. They land one league store and they just treat it like a seasonal job. Where professionals, you're going to build infrastructure. It means a preseason store, a mid-season drop, a playoff drop, a championship design, off-season registration merch. You design a calendar strategy, just not a single event. Now, national brands, they're going to focus on that large contract. And you can focus on those recurring drops that feel personal and timely. When you become the league's structured apparel system instead of just the shirt vendor, you remove competition entirely. And infrastructure creates retention. Retention creates predictable revenue, and predictable revenue reduces stress. So, some examples, hey, instead of just one store, I can map out three planned merch drops across the season so families aren't overwhelmed with price all at once. It keeps engagement high and sales consistent. Another one, you know, our goal isn't just one order. It's building a repeatable apparel plan for your league year after year after year. That way you're not shopping vendors every season. So, for this action step is let's just draft a three-phase league merch plan. Preseason, midseason, championship. Pretty simple on that, right? So, what do we got for you today? Well, we're going to win on response time, not on price. We're going to own the customization national brands can't scale. We're going to sell administrative simplicity to the board. We're going to position ourselves as the local safety net, and we're going to build recurring league infrastructure, just not one-off stores. If you're trying to beat the national brand at scale, you are going to stay frustrated. But when you lean into speed and customization and admin simplicity and local presence and structured recurring drops, you really stop competing entirely. You operate in a lane that they just can't dominate. Leagues don't just want cheap gear. They want stability. They want responsiveness. They want someone who is going to make their lives easier. And now that's up to you to be that vendor. And then guess what? You'll stop worrying about the big brands. So that's what we got for you on this last edition of February on Monday. Monday, what are you talking about? Spring, March. We're starting at March, and spring, can equal rebrand seasons. And so are we reaching out? It's just not another production time. It's a reset for a lot of businesses, and they're coming out of winter and they're preparing for busy months. So, what can we do to get in that? Any other questions, comments, concerns as we wrap this up, as we can go in there for it? And there we can do hoodless hoodie. Isn't that just no, because it has a pocket, Alan? It's got a pocket. So the PC78 PKT from Sandmar, it is a hoodless hoodie or a pocketed crew neck. I'm not sure what we call it. Hoodless hoodie, pocketed crew neck. That will be there in there for it. Which one? Which one? Which one? Who's your name there, Jerry? Which one was it? And let me pull it in there for it. Which number? Let me go get it, and we will make sure to put it in here for you. So let me know on that. I'm pulling up the doc. Where did the doc go? So I can grab it. There is that. Make us and move us podcast. Now we want today's episode, which is 227. 227. Wow. It still seems wild to say that we are at the end of February. Like, where did that go? Where did that go? All right, there. Now I got it. Let's see. Barb says, we have a casino locally. I've been to it maybe 5 times, mostly to eat. Only gambled 2 times. She used a roll of nickels and 5 $1 bills, 150, and quote by his head. In my younger years, oh, it was casino all the time. It was just right there. They had, it started with free drinks, and then it was dollar drinks. It was a good time to go out for that. And Alex says, "Ha! Last year I didn't get the contract from my alma mater school. I just put out some cool merchandise that the kids and parents loved and did okay with it. Right there we go. Sounds like great ROI, Barb. Love the pocket crew necks from Samar. I love them too. I love them too. 6 casinos located. They take all my money. Way to go, Jeff. G, good morning to you. Jerry, which tip? I still need to know which one it is so I can put it in there for it. The action, was it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5? Which one was it, Jerry? Then I'll make sure to put it in there. So I'm looking to see. We're not going until Jerry puts it. We're not going until Jerry gets it out of there. Let's see, where else were we? I won a ton of money in Vegas last time. Jerry's just rubbing it in now, right? Yeah, Jeff, she's just being rude and rubbing it in. I don't. In my younger years, yeah, I remember Sunday morning. brunch because we would go over there with that with my mom and grandma, and yeah, a Sunday morning brunch, and won $500 on Wheel of Fortune quarter machine. I remember that. The my 21st birthday, and we went out to the casinos because at that time I think we had the three of them, and hit all the casinos through there, and I think I ended up I don't know like $400 for the day. So it was pretty good. And then throughout the times, it was always go there for it. Okay, action step for number 4. We're your local. Let's see, action step. Here it is, number 4. Let's see if this is the one. I only won $200. My best gambling story. I got a good gambling story for you. My grandma, she taught me everything I need to know about card playing. All the card games, the euchre, the spades, the poker, all of the fun things with that. And so holidays we would play cards, nickel dime quarter, and I took my grandma, I think for like I don't know, $30 that night, and my mom was like, you gonna give it back to your grandma? I'm like, no. She told me if you're gonna sit at the table, be prepared to lose your money, and so she was. My grandma went to the casino that night, and my grandma won a Cadillac. Now, fun fact, my grandma had polio and did not drive, so she won a Cadillac and did not drive. She made me go pick it up when they gave him away and just to rub it in. But yeah, that was fun. I'll never forget that black Cadillac, and that started my obsession with Cadillacs. She that it's nice. It was an STS, and I ended up buying one years later, and I loved that car. And I should probably. It's about time. It's about time for me to get another Cadillac. It's been a while. Yeah, that's right, Jerry. You're holding everything up. You're holding it all up. All right, you guys. We do this every Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 8:30 a.m. Central Standard Time. So make sure to go like, subscribe, share, do all the stuff because it really helps that. Commenting after the fact, team replay. Make sure you're in there for it. For all of our needs, you can find us over at therhinestoneworld.com. We will be back Monday. You guys have an amazing weekend. So until then, peace, love, press on. We'll see you then.